Okay, so let's dive in. We're exploring something pretty fascinating today, I think.
Hmm.
It's this idea that, well, we're often much, much kinder to other people than we are to ourselves.
Ah, right. That definitely rings true for a lot of folks.
Yeah. Like, the experience someone else makes a mistake, maybe hurts you even, and eventually you find a way to forgive them.
There's a
But
process.
then, when you're the one who messed up, suddenly giving yourself that same kind of grace feels, well, almost impossible sometimes.
It's a strange disconnect, isn't it? That empathy we have, it just seems to stop short when we turn it inwards.
Exactly. We become our own worst critics, constantly replaying mistakes like a film loop in our heads.
Yeah, that broken record analogy is spot on.
So, our mission, really, for this deep dive is to try and understand why. Why is forgiving ourselves so tough? And maybe explore some, actual ways to get there, to find that bit of inner peace.
Habs toward it, yeah.
And maybe you're listening right now thinking, oh, yeah, that's me, forgiving others. Sure. Me, not so much.
And the sources we looked at point to a pretty core reason for this.
Which is?
We tend to hold ourselves to this incredibly high standard, almost an impossible one sometimes.
Right, this ideal version of who we think we should be.
Exactly. And when we inevitably fall short because, we're human, that disappointment hits hard and it sticks around.
It really does. And that leads into something else the sources highlighted, this kind of trap we fall into.
You mean confusing the guilt with actual growth?
Yeah, that's the one. Let's unpack that a bit. It's almost like we believe that if we keep punishing ourselves, if we stay stuck in that regret.
That somehow proves we've learned something.
Yeah.
That we're taking it seriously.
Right, but the material suggests that's not really how genuine growth works.
No, it seems true growth isn't really fueled by shame or self-punishment. It's more about understanding what happened, why it happened, and then actively choosing to do things differently next time.
Learning, adapting.
And then crucially, actually moving forward from it.
Okay, so understanding that difference kind of sets the stage for some practical things we can try, some techniques.
Exactly. Ways to actually shift that internal dynamic.
So the first one that really stood out to me was about the language we use with ourselves. This idea of naming the wound, not the label.
Oh, this is so important. Think about the difference in impact.
Okay.
Saying to yourself, I'm a complete failure, versus saying, okay, I made a choice. That choice hurt someone, and I really deeply regret doing that. See the difference?
Wow, yeah. One feels like a brand, a permanent label on who you are.
A life sentence almost.
Whereas the other one is, it's specific. It acknowledges an action, an event, and the feeling about it, the regret.
Precisely. And the source material is clear. This isn't about dodging responsibility at all.
No, not about excuses.
It's about honest accountability, but without piling on that extra layer of self-condemnation that just keeps you stuck. You're separating your identity from that specific mistake.
That separation feels key. And the sources mention some, personal stories around this too, right?
Yeah, really powerful ones. Like, even when the people we've hurt have actually forgiven us,
We still carry it.
we can still carry that weight ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
For years, sometimes.
Yeah,
It really shows how much of this self-forgiveness journey is internal, deeply personal.
right. And it's not just the big dramatic mistakes either. There's also that quieter guilt.
The guilt of inaction.
Yeah, like missed opportunities, times you didn't speak up or didn't help when you maybe could have. That stuff can weigh on you too.
Definitely. It can be quite insidious. But the real insight here, according to the sources, is realizing that holding on to any of this guilt, this self-punishment, it doesn't actually help. It's not noble.
It doesn't make you a better person just because you feel bad all the time.
Exactly. In fact, it could do the opposite. It can lead to bitterness, make you fearful, negatively impact your current relationships, how you see yourself.
So forgiving yourself in that sense isn't about changing the past.
No, it's about choosing to stop the punishment in the present.
That's a powerful way to frame it. Okay, so name the wound, not the label. Got it. What's technique number 2?
The second one taps into our need for compassion. It suggests writing a letter
A letter. To who?
to yourself. But, and this is the key part, writing it from the perspective of someone who loves you unconditionally.
Okay, like who?
Could be anyone, really.
Yeah.
Maybe a future wiser version of you looking back.
Yeah.
Or your best friend. Or maybe even someone important to you who's passed away, someone whose love and acceptance you trust completely.
And the point isn't just like writing generic positive things, right?
No, not just empty affirmations.
Right.
It has to feel genuine, like real heartfelt compassion. You have to really try and channel that person. What would they truly say to you, knowing everything about this mistake and about who you are now?
I can see how that could be powerful. It's like borrowing someone else's compassionate voice for a moment.
Exactly. And doing that can actually start to rewire your own internal dialogue, if that inner voice is usually critical.
Which it often is.
This exercise introduces an alternative, a voice of kindness and understanding. And slowly, that can help shift the balance away from just beating yourself up towards self-compassion.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like outsourcing the kindness until you can generate it yourself. Okay, cool. So what's the third technique? This one focuses more on time.
Yeah. It's about growth over time. This technique encourages us to consciously make a distinction between the person you were when you made the mistake and the person you are now.
Oh, okay. Acknowledging you weren't perfect then.
Yeah,
And you're still learning now.
exactly. But crucially, you still take full responsibility for what happened back then. It's not about letting past you off the hook.
Gotcha. But it is about recognizing that you've likely learned something since then. You've grown.
Precisely. And the source material offered a really potent sentence for this.
Yeah. What was it?
Something like, back then I didn't know what I know now, but I'm learning, and that matters.
Back then, I didn't know what I know now, but I'm learning, and that matters. I like that. It acknowledges the past reality.
Without letting it define your present or future. It recognizes that you acted based on the awareness you had at that time. Looking back with today's wisdom doesn't negate the journey.
And it emphasizes that the learning itself has value, that growth matters.
It really does. That process is worth acknowledging.
Okay, so we've got reframe the language, borrow compassion, and separate past you from present you through the lens of growth. What's the final technique? This one sounded maybe a bit unusual.
Yeah, maybe a little unconventional for some. It's called practicing mirror compassion.
Mirror compassion. Okay, tell me more.
It's pretty straightforward, actually. You stand in front of a mirror, you look yourself in the eye, really look.
Okay, kind of intense maybe?
It can be. And then you say out loud words like, I forgive you, I know you tried, you were doing your best.
Wow. Okay. Saying it out loud feels like the key part there.
It seems to be. And the source acknowledges, yeah, this might feel super awkward at first.
I bet.
Or it might even bring up some strong emotions. Tears, maybe. But that's okay. It's actually seen as normal, even beneficial. A sign it's hitting a nerve, maybe.
Why does saying it out loud make such a difference, do you think?
Well, the thinking is that our brains process spoken kindness differently, especially when it's directed at ourselves. Hearing those words, I forgive you, it can sometimes bypass our usual defenses against self-compassion.
Huh. Interesting.
And the source used a great example. Think about how you'd talk to a little kid who made a mistake.
Right, you wouldn't scream at them that they're terrible, usually.
Hopefully not. You'd probably offer comfort, right? Reassurance. You'd maybe explain what went wrong gently.
You'd try to be understanding.
Exactly. Understanding that they were likely doing the best they could with what they knew then. And mere compassion is basically trying to be that kind, understanding presence for your own past self.
Becoming the person your past self needed in that moment.
That's a lovely way to put it.
So all these techniques, they're pointing towards the same goal, really. That forgiving yourself isn't about making excuses. It's not saying the mistake was okay or didn't happen.
No, definitely not.
It's more about choosing to heal from it. Choosing to let go of that self-punishment that keeps you stuck.
It's a conscious, sometimes difficult, but ultimately courageous choice to heal, to release that burden.
And the feeling when you actually get there. The source described it as like lightness, being able to breathe properly again.
Yes, that sense of finally taking a full, deep breath without that constriction of guilt or shame, reaching a place where you can honestly say, okay, I made mistakes, big ones maybe, but I am more than my worst moment.
I am more than my worst moment. That's powerful.
It really is. Letting go frees you up. It doesn't erase the past, but allows you to live more fully now and build a better future.
So if you're listening, and maybe some of this is resonating, maybe you've been carrying around some heavy stuff, guilt, shame, regret,
Please hear this.
You really, truly deserve to be free from that.
No.
And self-forgiveness, it's not really about the past you. It's a gift, an incredibly valuable gift you give to your future self.
And you are absolutely worthy of that gift.
Mhm.
We really admire you for even listening to this, for engaging with these ideas. It takes courage to even consider letting go.
It really does. It's an act of self-compassion just to be here thinking about it. So, just take it one gentle breath at a time.
One breath at a time.
And maybe, just maybe, think about this. What if you tried just one of these things? Just experimented with one technique? How might that, even subtly, start to change things inside over time?